They've been there and done that. And now the baddest of the rock gods methodically analyze and dissect musical notes, compositions, and riffs that made them go from the stage to the couch. This is My Favorite Riff. Here's your host, Nikki Sixx.
I'm Nikki Sixx. Welcome to My Favorite Riff. Hanging out with me today is Billy Sheehan. What's happening, dude? I'm very excited you're here.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, bro.
You're showing me some cool stuff a few minutes ago.
Right on.
I'm kind of geeking out on your bass. It's fun for me to have bass players in here because we have a lot of guitar players.
Yeah, we have a lot in common.
Yes, we do.
4 strings, maybe more, but I stick with 4.
Yeah, I stick with 4.
I'm confused enough with 4.
Yeah.
Anymore, I'm in trouble.
So just for a second, I was noticing the scalloping on your bass, and I've never seen that. I've seen your basses a million times, and I guess I didn't visually see it.
Yeah, it's hard. If I show it sideways, the camera, you can see there's a little, like the shell of a scallop. That's why it's called scallop. It's cut out. And what the reason for that is, now a lot of guys like fusion jazz guys like John McLaughlin back in the 70s and 80s, he did that. So you can really, and Yngwie does it to all of his necks are scalloped completely. But
completely scalloped.
Yeah. So there's no wood underneath your hand. So you can really be in big trouble that way too, because if you don't really know how to do it, you're playing wildly out of tune. But on a bass, I didn't want to lose that much wood, so I just thought the scalloping might be nice, because when I bend a string, my fingers rubbing on the wood.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of
I hear that. Yeah.
catching. So if I get rid of it,
right, it's really
kind of get up. And of course, so many songs we play are in E. You need that to bend up to a high E.
Yeah.
Is always a good thing to be able to do. So
yeah.
It makes it a little easier to get your finger underneath there.
Love that.
And I could live without it, but I just got used to it, and so Yamaha grandfathered in all the things I did on my old P bass back in the day into the correct versions of them.
Was the first one you did on on a P bass?
Yeah.
Yourself?
Yeah, I did it myself.
You were saying you were in a hotel room and you were like...
With a Dremel Moto tool, and
hopefully it wasn't your only bass.
There was a backup on the truck, thank goodness, but I slipped and it went across the frets and dug into the frets. I had to sand the frets down again to make them smooth again. But I figured I better knock it off, and that's enough scalloping. Yeah, enough that I almost ruined my bass.
And so that's why there's 5, right?
Yeah.
That's
So I gave up after 5.
And then explain. I noticed you got 2 jacks.
Yeah, there's one is
this is geek stuff.
Geek stuff.
You know,
Sorry,
whatever. You can deal with it.
One is like the high frequencies. You hear all the high notes, and the other pickup sounds like this. So it's real super deep.
Right. Warm,
like
smooth.
McCartney's neck position. The bass player for Chicago had a bass like that. The EBO bass.
And the problem with the EBO was the scale was short.
They were tiny.
Yeah.
I think the hollow body ones, it was basically a 335 body with a bass neck, so it was small, and they were cool, but you need the manly Fender kind of thing on there. Yeah. So I put that EBO pickup on a Fender bass.
So you can choose.
Yeah. So you get both sounds.
Well, not necessarily choose, but run them in tandem.
You can run them together, or what I do is I run them to separate amps. So one amp is just super deep low end. So it's always got that low thing. So that's why I get away with some of the shenanigans I get away with, because there's always low end going on. Otherwise, it would just be this high thing, and I'd get thrown out of the band much quicker.
We eventually always get thrown out of our band.
Anyway.
We're bass players.
Of course.
Well, that's fantastic. So you can split it.
They've done a great job on it. The Yamaha's been a wonderful company, and it's been an honor to work with them and to have them put my name on their bass, and it's very nice.
So, this is obviously called My Favorite Riff.
Right on.
And that's a hard thing.
I know, I'm trying to think of
what are we going to do? What are you thinking? Like some of the things, the simplest thing, most complex.
One simple one that I love. I play it all the time at sound check, and people are like, what song is that? Because you instantly recognize it, but you don't know what it is. Maybe I'm an old guy, so maybe my generation recognizes it better than others, but it was a simple line. It's just
recording?
No, actually the bass is probably playing.
Yeah.
Since I play in a 3-piece band so much, I'd always do the extra to make up for the lack of rhythm or key rhythm guitar player, keyboard player.
Yeah.
So I would overdo it, as people very well know.
Yeah.
But there's a song by Chicago called South California Purples, off their very first record, Chicago Transit Authority. It was one of my first bands just out of high school. It was a horn band.
Yeah.
So we had a full horn section and all that stuff.
Me, like coming up in Idaho, they had the song Saturday Night, or Saturday in the Park.
Yeah, Saturday in the Park.
Yeah, and I remember that was my introduction to them. And I'd never heard that. I was into really Aerosmith, Ted Nugent was happening. So that was a good education for me. Yeah,
they were a pretty amazing band. Their early records were great. They were hard and heavy and cool, and they had amazing changes. Later on, they got a little more commercial and had hits and stuff like that. But at the beginning, they were kind of a counterculture band in a lot of ways.
Was that a Chicago bass line?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, that is. Okay, great. Okay.
Pretty cool band. A lot of singing.
So, as a musician, you sit around, you try to grab an hour, 2 hours a day. A great day, you get more.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about being on the road is I get to the venue around noon, set up in the dressing room, I got my little amp there, I start working out 2 or 3 hours, sound check, get done with that, get another hour or 2 hours to work it out.
Yeah.
Hear the opening act go on, that's time to get dressed, and warm up a little more until it's time for us. So I spent the whole day.
And then you get to do a full show,
and then do 2 hours.
yeah. It's a little different being at home and stuff.
Yeah.
On the complex side of it, stuff that you love to play.
Well, there's a couple things that I do that are basically just take a chord like an E minor, as you would play that guitar with the extra 2 strings, and break it up into its component parts. And then move this around. They can start moving around. Just make a whole thing out of that, breaking up the two outside notes there, and the inside notes with these fingers.
Okay.
And I started that by playing. I got into that because I started one day I just was going, and I went. Broke into "Don't Stop Believing." So I'm on the thing. Wait, this little thing might be able to do something with that. So then it turned all kinds of other wacky, crazy stuff.
So, as a bass player, I basically stick to a lot of the root notes.
Sure,
it's kind of my job, one of my jobs.
Yeah.
I never really thought about taking chording and bringing it into the bass. Would you have like any kind of advice for someone like me? Say, hey Nikki, this is kind of what you do. I've heard you, Dr. Feelgood, Kickstart My Heart. If you want to open up your style a little bit, try some of these
just
things.
three major and minor, and then root 5th octave. So again, playing a 3-piece band, instead of hitting the last note, I was why not hit?
Yeah.
Why hit? Every note you can hit for that, just for the maximum effect.
Yeah.
It seems to just give more. Yeah. But we used to play Dr. Doctor by UFO. I'd done a tour with UFO, so when I got back to my band, we had pulled a few UFO songs for us to do.
Yeah, great band too.
I love them so much.
Yeah.
But no keyboard to do the beginning, so I went. Hitting the octave things there, just make kind of a keyboard sound.
Yeah.
And again, we would do in a 3-piece band. We do songs like Kansas, Carry On, Wayward Son.
Wayward Son, yeah.
And there's a keyboard stab in it, so I do the keyboard. Just to get that would also save us from having to hire a keyboard player.
Yeah, we don't want keyboard players.
I know, and I get an extra trailer. If you're making $100 with 3 guys, it's 33 each.
Yeah.
Add a 4th and then pay for the trailer, you're down to about 20.
Yeah, I had a keyboard player, and we had to carry his stuff around too. It's bad enough with us. Right?
I know. Bass amps.
Yeah.
Carrying the SVT heads. I used to carry them by myself, which was
those 70 ones. I still have 3 of those in storage, and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't want anybody else to have them.
It's true. You can always use them as a boat anchor too.
They're
heavy.
Build a wall out of them.
Great. And I don't know what else. trying to think of what. Oh, there's a.
Beautiful. Yeah.
A little song that when we first heard it,
Yeah.
To Be With You, we thought, oh, let's put it on like at the end of the record, and as the credits roll.
It was kind of always.
I mean, it was an afterthought.
It was that, right? You put the ballad at the end,
we didn't,
you know?
If we had known it was going to be a hit, we would have put it first. And
yes.
released it first.
Exactly. Exactly. So you got Winery Dogs stuff coming up, DVD.
Yeah,
and we got a Mr. Big album coming out.
Defying Gravity, a new record coming out, produced by our original producer who produced To Be With You and all the first 4 records, a guy named Kevin Elson.
That's cool to go back.
Yeah, an amazing guy. He grew up with Leonard Skinner and was their sound man, and they sounded amazing. So Journey was opening up for them. The Journey manager, Herbie Herbert, if you remember him, he loved Kevin's mixes so much. Man, if you ever need a job, we'll take you in a minute. He was on the plane that crashed with Leonard Skinner, sitting next to Ronnie Van Zant, survived the crash. 6 months later, shows up at Herbie's office in crutches. Herbie put him right on Journey, front of house mixer, and then he ended up producing the records. So he produced all that
great stuff.
All the Journey hits.
Wow.
An amazing story.
Yeah.
You know,
of survival,
sweetest, most wonderful guy too.
Gratitude and
really.
And now you're back. I can't wait to hear that record.
Yeah, well, I'm real pleased with it. We recorded it in 6 days, the basics.
Okay.
Like old school. With we had a time constraint. We only had 6 days. We're all going to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
So we had to do or die. The last day we needed, I think, 2 more songs. And we only had 1. Right. Somehow we pulled another one out of somewhere. We managed to get enough songs for the record.
And you guys tracked mostly, kind of like live off the floor in general.
Guitarist Paul and myself were in the control room with our amps at other places. Drums in the drum room, and the singer in the vocal booth.
Yeah.
So we did it for real, which is nice. It's pleasant to do it that way.
It's what we do live.
Exactly right.
And to remember that, like that's why we made records, was to go play live.
I know.
And then we started just making records. I went through a period anywhere where it was about the record, and I wasn't thinking about getting it on stage.
Yeah.
Too many overdubs sometimes.
And trying to do that on stage becomes a pain in the neck, because you gotta where these extra voices going to come from and all. So.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of doing it for real.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming down and hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Thanks for the inspiration as a bass player.
Thank you. Very, very kind.
And we'll hang out again.
We'll do it.
Okay.
All right.